you can...
You're tuning in to the online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans, producing after-shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Hey guys, welcome back to AfterBuzz TV. This is The 100, Season 3, Episode 2, Wanheda, Part 2. What? I love this song. I'm not gonna lie. I'm just letting you guys know. I'm a big fan.
Is this like the instrumental version?
Hey, don't hate on my jam right now.
It's like the million-year-long intro. So
this is the long intro. We didn't start on the chorus like we thought.
Hey, it's okay. We can do it ourselves. Baby, come back.
Yeah. That's
Welcome back to AfterBuzz TV.
Ooh,
And joining me today, we have Alexis Torres.
Hey, everybody. You can find me all over social media at 8Torres890.
And Mr. Bateman.
I'm here, guys. I wish that I really like it. It felt like you were gonna transition to me right when the first Baby Come Back happened, and I was just gonna have to sing it as my intro, but I was off a little bit. So I'm Ben Bateman. I'm back. I'm back. Baby Come Back.
Yes, you are.
Ben Bateman's back.
Ben Bateman Media. Twitter, Instagram, and guys, we have a new panelist.
Yeah.
Brand new panelist to the room. Give it up for Erin Lane.
Yeah.
Oh, I want this every single time. I want the round of applause.
It's gonna happen.
Hello, I'm Erin Lane. You can find me on Instagram at always eat your cake, and you should always eat your cake, and on Twitter at love Erin Lane.
Oh
Is
my
there
God,
a
is there
story
cake?
behind the cake thing?
Is there cake?
Everybody asks me that. I don't have a good story for it. It's my blog because I really like
Cake?
food.
Do you eat a lot of cake?
Okay, this is the worst part. Is I'm allergic to cake.
So what?
What?
Do you eat like gluten-free cake or something?
Yeah, I mean gluten-free cake is terrible, but I do it.
Yeah,
I mean,
right.
no, you
You
gotta have
have to always eat
cake.
your cake. Yeah.
Right.
Right. Okay.
It's worth it, even if you're allergic, you know?
I need to come up with like a better tagline. Mine's
got
like,
it.
I can't have cake, but you should.
Right.
Ooh, no, I am a
Okay,
fan.
good.
I
good.
like that.
It's working.
Yeah.
Also, because I love cake.
On the subject of cake, guys, there's this bakery by my other job that makes really great cake, and I've just been going after work every day and just sitting at their little table by myself
Just eating cake.
and eating a slice of cake. I'm not kidding. This is not something I'm like usually a real fitness guy. Like I stick to a diet, and right now, just eating a lot of cake. I had a slice of cake this afternoon, and I had one yesterday also.
Welcome to my life.
Yeah,
That is the life that I lead.
That's,
I ate enough cake
that's
for both
literally
of us.
it.
So we know what's gonna happen when Ben shows up wearing like big sweaters and sweatpants.
Yeah.
Somebody hit up that cake.
It's getting bad. It's
That's
probably
right.
getting bad already,
Cake,
honestly.
cake.
You know who's being really indulgent like one would be on cake?
Who?
Jaha.
Yeah!
Oh, yeah.
I'm so glad you brought that in there because I was gonna say something about
Yeah.
it. Also, before we continue, the chat says welcome to our crazy little family.
Yes, thank you.
Thanks, guys, for being so
Yeah.
super supportive and everything. I like it.
Seriously.
I like it.
So
Cake,
as
cake,
far as we
cake,
know,
cake,
as
cake,
at this
cake.
moment, the cake is a lie, everyone.
That's what I was gonna
Cake is a
say.
lie.
That's what you
Dang,
need to
took
change
my-
your. That needs to be.
That's no. I think
Cake is a lie.
My business cards are on one side gonna say Erin Lane, on the other side it'll just say the cake is a lie.
I think that's great.
I think Portal might have a problem with that though, but I think you should do it.
We digress, guys.
Yes.
Sorry. Talk about the 100.
The 100. So, yes. We've had some really interesting scenes with Murphy and Jaha and the whole idea of the City of Light, right? And we've introduced a couple of extra people that are pretty much bounty hunters. We have Emery and her friend. And I just, it blows my mind that, like, that this whole concept exists, and it's such a mystery to me what the City of Light is. Because is it a projection? Is it an actual, like, place that exists that basically Allie is projecting into their consciousness? So it's basically a map that she's using but they see themselves being there already? Or is it an act? Is it magic? Is it magic, everyone?
No, it's not magic.
Magic.
I think that it's like you take like this little chip, whatever the pill thing is.
Yes.
It's like a digital pill.
The blue pill.
You get some sort of like nano smart blood type of thing that goes on, where you know what I mean, where you connect to the digital projection that's going on.
Yeah.
I really like. So two things. So Rothenberg in an interview this week, then that he was talking about. He's really using just like the scenes at the beginning of the season sparingly to give you Jaha and Murphy's story.
Yeah.
He's not going to overdo it, and he hasn't overdone it. Like maybe 10 minutes screen time tops. But by mid-season, he'll start to increase it, and then it's going to explode in like its own story, and it's really going to hit everything in the mouth, which is good because it's not that interesting yet. But at this rate, the amount that we're getting, it's more interesting to me. Like I think it's developing it, and I like that. I also like that we called last season, like as Jaha was losing a little bit, that he's going to be the villain, and he totally is. He's totally going to be the villain, even if he's misled. Yeah. Like, he's a great villain. He makes a really, really good villain because he's crazy.
He is, and he buys into stuff 100% every single time.
Every time. I'm glad that you brought that up.
No thought process there. He's like, yeah, great, okay, this will be my thing now. He just, every time, if there's something, he's the one that just goes all in on the crazy train.
Right, yeah, completely. He's like, he feels like he should like come up to you and just be like, John, I have a product you need to be buying, and if you get 5 of your friends to sell the product also, and they get 5 of their friends.
So what is he, the pyramid scheme?
Yeah, he's like, you know what I mean? Like that's what it feels like he should be talking about. What's the famous one? The famous pyramid scheme, the most famous one?
Ponzi?
No, Ponzi's like a type, but like the brand where you sell the. What the hell is Amway?
Amway.
Feels like he should be selling Amway.
See,
that's what it should be.
I was gonna say Cutco for all you San Fernando Valley kids out there.
Cutco.
Yeah,
Right. Those knives are great.
I have so many of them. It's
I do
ridiculous.
too.
Yeah, everybody has them. That's why they can't sell any more knives.
Yeah. Anyway, I just like that he's nuts. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he's definitely a character who wants to be a part of something bigger than himself.
Right.
And so, like, he's always looking for something to fill that void. And he always feels like he has to be the leader of something.
Yeah, I never thought of it that way.
We've also been missing the Jaha slightly related to Samuel L. Jackson impressions that we did last season.
Oh my God, those are great.
We stopped doing that, I guess.
I'm still saying my man every
That's
single
the
time I
one.
see this man's face. Anytime we're just walking around, we could just be getting pancakes. My man, what?
man.
We're eating pancakes. Alexis, what are you doing?
Yeah. Men eat pancakes. And Alexis eat pancakes.
Yeah.
It's because his character, like, his whole demeanor has changed.
Yeah.
He was always pretty stoic. But he's become more of like a Buddhist monk type character.
Yeah.
Whereas before he had like a drive about him because he was always trying to like save his people. So he was a little more manic.
Right.
But now he's kind of flipped the scale and become like that charismatic cult leader that you usually see in most shows and cults.
Right, and it's great too because just like so many of the conventions that they showed us in the first season of the show, his like noble leader who's kind of an altruist that turned out to have more going on is completely voided now by the smart writing of the show. Like, he's a way more interesting character than that, and like that cliche character that he started out did not turn out to be that character whatsoever. Which I think is
really
awesome.
like this kind of like evolution. He's still super creepy, and he never seems trustworthy at all because he just kind of
That goatee. That's
And
what
it's
it is. That
a-
really
It's
light.
It's well groomed.
Yes.
these small goatee. Yeah, and he just always seemed really creepy to me, and like there was something else going on under there. And this role to me is really fitting for him. This kind of like reserved, but I'm going to begin to gather my fellow cult followers kind of thing. You know, feeding them the chips. I really like him in this because it kind of resonates even more than when he was all aggressive and.
Do we think that so let's just pretend you're at a bar, Jaha walks up to you and he starts like talking to you and spitting game, but he's like his normal Jaha self, right? The way that he acts. So like, if you're into him, if you think he's really hot, he's creepy, but you're into him because that's how it is. If somebody comes off really strong and really, but if you don't think he's sweet, then he's a stalker, right? I just go on a tangent. Nobody agrees with me.
I was trying to process all that information.
Yeah.
I was also thinking of Isaiah Washington coming up to me and be like, "You want a drink?"
That's
and I'm
true.
like,
Right? What? Because he'd walk up to you and he'd be like, "I believe you should drink this drink. It's the best drink in the bar. It's the only drink for you." And you'd be like, "What if you thought he was really hot?" You'd be like, "I trust you." If not, you'd be like, there's something wrong with it.
Yeah, there's
He's
something
gonna
in it.
follow me home to my apartment.
Yeah,
weird.
yeah.
All right.
Or maybe talk to me about Camp Jaha. I don't know.
Anyway.
Or the City of Light. Sorry.
There was something that stood out to me in these collections of scenes, and it was how broken up Murphy was about the mutant dying.
Yeah.
Murphy is a renowned murderer.
Yeah.
We know this. He cares little about human life.
Yeah.
So it surprised me how broken up he is about basically breaking rules and killing people and all that stuff. I mean, do we feel like his character has earned this development?
I'm not gonna say that he earned it because that's kind of weird to think about, but like not in a bad way. Just like it's kind of weird to put that into perspective. But I feel like he's had a lot of alone time, I think, and I just feel like he's still trying to figure out himself after all that craziness that happened of him being, what was it, 82 weeks? Or something like that? Or 82 days. Sorry, 82 days. 82 weeks. Jeez. 82 days of being in that bunker by himself. So I feel like he's just trying to get back into the groove of being around people. Yeah. So I don't know. It didn't seem too out of character, but at the same time I didn't notice it like you did. Okay. I kind of just saw it as, oh yeah, he's back in the real world and he's kind of getting used to that again.
Okay.
I'll bet you Jaha's going to say 2 days ago.
Oh, here we go.
Season? No?
Yeah.
Right?
No,
82 days?
no,
Okay,
I liked
never
it.
In other news, the cake is a lie. So I'm with you. I think Murphy's grown up a little bit. Why'd he give the backpack back? Like, I get that he got the girl back, but then just like toss it somewhere that isn't like on their side. Toss it into the ocean where they can't get it, because he's clearly fucking evil. Like, he's clearly like, it's not. Nothing good is coming. This guy just got seduced by a microchip. Get on the boat and run away, but throw the backpack not where they can get it out of the water.
I don't think. I think Murphy is still trying to get used to being around human beings and not being in a room. I just feel like he's just not all there yet. So his decisions are either way too rash or his emotions are all over the place. I think he's having a hard time adjusting.
Right.
I think, and also just the fact of just people around him are either he already can't trust them, or they're just turning into these weird cult zombies. So there's that too. Yeah. I mean, this is me just spitballing here.
I mean,
but,
I think
I thought it was weird.
Meant to do something with the backpack. Like, he's not trying to just give it back, but when he tossed it in, he just didn't put it very far away. But it's interesting that he, like you said, is so weird about these things that before he probably wouldn't have cared about. But obviously he sees the greater evil in this, and I think for him, maybe it's some weird line in the sand that we didn't know he had.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
But oh no, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I mean, that was just like a pretty gnarly scene. Like, it definitely like just like the throat cut. I was also kind of weirded out by the dude. What's his name? We got his name last week. It was not Solomon. It was.
Are you talking about the mutant, or are you talking about
the mutant?
I forget.
We had his name last week, but anyway,
call him Morty.
He kept getting hit. No, he has.
That makes him too lovable.
He has a real name.
Yeah, they gave him a name, but they just kept hitting him in the head, and he was like not responding, and then he got his throat. I don't know. It's just kind of a disturbing scene a little bit.
Well, that's also the thing is about, especially with cults, is that they do these terrible things to each other, and sometimes they do it with like a smile on their face, and they don't feel pain. So they believe, it's like believing the cake is a lie so hard that you can just it's there, you know.
Right, and like but nobody feels pain in the City of Light. We find out.
But I also like the fact that when you do see them in the City of Light, everything looks great. And,
yeah,
and like
they're all cleaned up.
His mutation's not there. Same thing with the guy with the scarf. Like, his face was all warped and also had some cuts and bruises and scars. All gone.
Well, that's probably going to be part of how they get people to come in, because all these people have scars and mutations and something wrong with them. So having that as part of the appeal of, you come in and you're blemish free and you're perfect now, and you don't feel pain and you're fine.
Right.
I mean,
if we ever do like dress up again for the characters, I'm gonna just go see a makeup artist and just get like giant growths on my head. I'll come completely normal. But it'd be even funnier if I did it on the wrong week, and then I just showed up like giant growths on my face.
Yes.
Guys, I'm here for Action Movie Anatomy. No, you're not.
No, you're not. No, I don't know who you are.
Yeah.
I think it'd be great. Well, what do you guys think? Because a lot of people are talking about it in the chat. What do you guys think Allie's main goal is right now? Are the AI?
It's really tricky, because she doesn't have feelings. She doesn't have like a real thought process of anything. She just has some sort of programming to get to the root cause of the fall of humanity, and to her it was too many people, which is interesting because that's probably not what I would have thought if someone said, what's the root cause of the disaster that's going on right now. So for her now, I think she's just trying to build this perfect society, but it's, from an algorithm standpoint. It's not from a real human empathetic feeling standpoint.
Yeah.
I would say that she's, if I were to compare her to anything, I would say she's closest to a virus.
Yeah.
Like specifically the viruses that will control its victim to spread itself from one host to another.
Okay.
Like, for example, there are viruses that will essentially take control of a rat to be eaten by a cat so can essentially infest the cat.
So trying to find a bigger host, pretty
Right.
much. So get to the little ones first, and then eventually go
Yeah.
to there. Okay.
So I
can
think
see
it's
that.
something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead.
It's definitely the type of situation that, like Jason said, it's going to set up a very cool dynamic in the season later on, because I think if you get this plot brewing and like something really nefarious does start to happen where she's taken over enough people and there's enough power coming, it's a whole other villain that starts to just hit the show from a completely different sci-fi angle as opposed to like the post-apocalyptic angle. But then, like, I think that's really, really cool. Like,
Yeah.
what if
Yeah, I like
Murphy
that.
has to like take the pill so he can like defeat them in their own
Yeah.
On their
Matrix
own
world?
ground, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's what I'm kind of curious about is
Really pulling out the
how
Matrix.
does that work? Because you see them when they're in the City of the Light and they're just sitting there meditating, basically. So isn't that putting them in kind of a vulnerable position? You're just sitting on your knees meditating. Can't someone come and just...
Well, that's the thing is, I really don't think our mutant friend is he's dead in the physical world, but he's alive in the virtual. I think that's what's happening.
Right.
Yeah.
So
So-
I think that's what's going on. So it doesn't even matter if you
Right.
do die in the real world.
I'm just
you're
wondering how
alive
that's
there.
preserved. Is it preserved, just a portion of what you were before, or are you there in full consciousness?
I think that it's in the same way that the AI is a copy of its creator. I think that essentially once you are integrated, it takes like a scan or the sum of what you once were and then ingests it into this mainframe. It's kind of like Doctor Who.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's an episode with I forget the name of the
I can't
time
remember
lord
it
technology.
either.
It's the something matrix, where essentially it downloads people's personalities and their minds right before they die, and it can essentially resurrect them because they're stored in that matrix.
Okay, so true story. I'm gonna make this quick as
I
I
died.
I died.
I have a copy.
I'll make this as quick as I can, just
Yeah.
because this is a bizarre thing that happened to me last year, and it still blows my mind. So when I was a kid, we had these VHS tapes, and there was like a trailer for this movie that I saw once when I was a kid, right? And in the trailer, all I remembered was like this kid, his neighbor is like a virtual reality professor. He ends up having to like fight him in virtual reality with a sword or something. I never saw the movie. Years later, last year, like the image of this trailer pops into my head, and I realize that it's been like 17 years or something since I saw the trailer. Can't remember what it is. End up like Google searching for an entire day, come across the fact that it was in fact Lawnmower Man 2.
Oh my god.
Job's War, which is the name of the movie, and I found the trailer, and it's exactly that. Like he's a vegetable, and they've kept his brain alive, but he taps into some sort of virtual reality thing, and he has to fight against this kid who was a former student of his, who also gets like into virtual reality, and they fight with sweet swords.
Nice.
And, yeah. Anyway, the point is, yeah,
What
Lawnmower
is your
Man 2.
life,
It's a real thing.
Bateman?
But the thing is, I love old school like simulations of virtual reality, like 80s and 90s, when it
Yeah.
was like such like a crazy idea, like we'll fight in our minds. But like, and like now we watch this on a show, and it's just like completely like does not even begin to blow our mind. Like the,
It's like, oh, it's normal.
yeah, it's totally. It's like
Yeah.
a Nintendo Virtual Boy or something like that. Yeah. Anyway,
It's true.
The library, it looks like, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
All right. So I feel like we've covered the City of Light.
Yeah, no.
And I'm really anxious to talk about Clarke a bit.
yeah,
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Because I like her a lot.
yeah, she's great.
And I think that her scenes with Prince Roan, who I had been calling Bounty Hunter up until now,
Yeah,
Yeah.
were really cool. I like this new character. I like how badass he is.
very cool.
And I feel like at some point they're going to be friends or comrades or something in that regard. Did you guys see the Lexa thing coming up?
100%.
Yes.
Yes.
Completely.
I think all of us were
Completely.
sitting there watching it and being like,
I was like,
okay,
so you can show her now. We get it. Move on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely, 100%.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, what do you guys think about his motivation for taking her in?
Well, it's really clear the whole time that he wasn't with Ice Nation. I mean, he
Yeah.
was hiding the entire time.
Yeah.
But I don't know, they had some kind of weird moments. So at first I thought it was a little more of a personal motivation in like a relationship-y kind of way or something. I don't know. But then, you know, he does come across a little selfish in certain instances. But they have some bonding moments throughout this process in a weird way.
Yeah.
Completely. Yeah, a little bit of like captor Stockholm syndrome thing. My only complaint with Roan was that though he's a little less jacked than Ricky Whittle, still in great shape and looks really cool.
Yeah.
I sort of felt like the one scene where he takes on the Ice Nation dudes, they had a better opportunity there than they took advantage of. Like, you know how there's those scenes sometimes where like a really badass character takes on 5 people at once?
Yeah.
And it's done in this swift, like super fast, and then like everyone's on the ground, like the swords in the guy. Like that scene in Last Samurai when he gets cornered and he takes on everybody, which by the way they shot in one take, which is amazing. He actually executed the whole scene. But anyway, I felt like that's what I wanted from that scene. But instead we got this thing where it's like a couple slow-mo slashes and then the arrow. And I was like, I mean, he's really cool. And like, it's not that he wasn't badass. It's like, I just felt like it could have been done better. That was all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I do know what you mean. I actually was kind of waiting for that when that was happening.
Yeah.
Like some really awesome, sweet ninja moves. And the only part I really liked about it is at the end when he just throws the bow down.
Yeah.
Like,
It makes that noise.
Doesn't need
when
it.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, I mean, he took them all out in a couple hits, so he did exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah.
I just didn't like need the slow-mo. I kind of wanted it to be like a more choreographed.
That's what I was talking about. I was like,
Yeah.
what's happening? In the first 2 seasons, we didn't have this slow-mo weird fight scene thing, and then since the first episode when we had Lincoln and Bellamy sparring, and there was that weird slow-mo, I was like, what's going on? But I was like, well, this is season 3, we have to step it up.
Though I think that like a hyper stylized fighting style would be really out of place, especially since this show is so grounded.
Yeah.
pun
Oh,
grounded.
so, how
in
dare
there.
you? How to get out? I'm just kidding.
Well, that's my time, guys.
I'm leaving. Here we go.
So I get that. I think that they're trying to strike a balance between having it being realistic and also having it be more fancy than they have. You know, because I think that in earlier seasons when we had fight scenes, it was those like blur fight scenes.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it's like things are happening. The frame rate's different, you know. And
It's different.
Change the frame rate, that'll do it.
because they'll like speed and slow down intermittently, so all you see is like the motion blur.
I just see like some like director in the back. I mean, not like our director because he's awesome, but like just a random director to be like, just change the frame rate. It's like, oh, all right. Sorry. It's so weird.
24.
Yeah.
30.
Back and forth, back and forth.
60.
Do it.
Speaking to your question about his motivation, it was you who asked about the motivation, right? It's the same motivation that Jorah has to win back the love of the North in what's it called?
Game of Thrones.
Yes.
Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
The whole,
That show.
yeah, raise
Right.
my
That
honor
little
and
show.
all
That
that.
little show.
Who, by the way, he's my favorite character to impersonate, but we won't go into that. Like, so so from that point of view, I get it, and you could tell by how cool and handsome he was that he was going to be a relevant character.
Yeah.
Because otherwise he would have worn a mask probably.
Yeah.
Can we just talk for a second, like as far as like handsome guy, where does he
Okay.
rank on the show? Do we think? Like if our options are Bellamy, Ricky Whittle, we have this new guy. We have who are we forgetting?
I mean, we have Kane. We have.
I was gonna say, I'm
Jaha.
like, I do love some Kane.
I feel like of the-
Kane, Jaha, Jasper, Monty, like, do they really compete? Like, the other 3 are clearly heartthrobs, right? Clearly.
Right. But I feel like they are all different handsomes.
See,
like
they are.
one's
See?
rugged, one is like the jacked kind of like,
Yeah, right.
oh man, 6-pack abs, and then the other one is like boyish charm.
Right.
So
Wow, look at you.
What's
I'm
the-
really
Really
just
good
laying out
breakdown
that.
of
I
the
liked that.
Sexiness
Very
of various
nice.
men. That was amazing.
See, yeah, I'm weird. I mean, as much as I love Ricky Whittle, you're an amazing person. You're my best friend of all time. I'm actually not into like super
Jacked
jacked
dude.
dudes.
Yeah.
I like someone I can actually cuddle with and I won't
So-
feel bone and
Yeah,
muscle.
I'm usually like that too. I like gangly, skinny, but Ricky Whittle is a beautiful, beautiful
He's a
man.
beautiful
and
man.
I can't get past that in the show. Like, I look at him in certain scenes, and that's all that I
Right,
see. Is
right,
I'm
right.
like, oh, I see you for your body, okay.
Sorry, Ricky.
Sorry. But I don't know. Prince Rowan is
Ooh, man,
obviously put in there to be super
Yeah.
sexy.
I think that
I mean-
Prince Rowan might be the most handsome character on the show.
Well, mine was Finn, but he's gone now, so
Oh.
whatever.
he got
Too
name checked
soon.
though.
He did. He always gets name checked. At least like a few episodes in. But no, I think I would love to have me some Kane. That'd be great.
You like Kane?
I love
I love that actor.
That makes
He's
me
great.
so incredibly
Kane.
happy that is your favorite.
I like
I don't know
Kane.
what it is.
Henry
he just has
Cusack.
it. Anytime he
He's
says
great.
a word, I'm just like,
He's got like
Oh,
the
geez.
stubble, and he's
Yeah.
all like authoritative.
I love
good.
the beard.
Yeah.
Just squeeze.
All right, let's talk Clarke.
Sorry, anyway.
Do we have more to say on Roan, actually? Sorry.
What?
Did we have more to say on Roan before we move on to Clarke?
Nope. I was just about to jump and talk about Clarke and Lexa and what exactly she wants to do with Clarke. Like, she wants her by her side, even though she's betrayed her.
I don't understand what's happening, guys.
Alexa frustrates me so much because I had moments last season and I'm like, yes, okay, this is good. We're all friends here. And then she had that moment with Clarke that Clarke kind of turned her down, and after that everything went downhill and it's gotten really weird.
Yeah, it's been real weird. It's even weirder having done the Fear the Walking Dead after show and seen her as like a 16-year-old girl, and then trying to watch this show and like see. It took me a second. I think she's pretty great though, and I think the range to do both characters is pretty great. Clarke, this episode, I really believe that she is the commander of death. Like I'm buying into it. Like I found myself this episode finally just being like, yeah, like they did a great job with this character over the course of 2 seasons and then now into this 3rd season. Like she just feels really awesome. Like she feels like a kid who went through all this stuff and actually killed a ton of people and can't deal with it, and she's just like ferocious. Like she is the commander of death. Yeah. But I do have to say, the final scene when she's yelling, I didn't buy it.
Oh
really?
My gosh,
I loved it.
I thought it was great. And kicking.
Oh no, not that part. I meant the spitting. That was my favorite part.
The spitting was
that
great.
was great.
Spitting was a good movie.
No, yeah. I mean, I love that actress. I think she's amazing. I thought the screams were a little weak. Just a tiny bit.
But it was also, I think, the scripting. That would be really hard to pull off in any, convincing way.
Yeah, and the editing too.
Yeah, that too. I didn't like that she was screaming, but all you saw was her feet and kind of her like moving around. I mean, again, we're not hating on her. It's just that moment should have been more epic for me. Like I should have got goosebumps from that.
It reminded me when she's yelling, you wanted the commander of death. It's the same thing as when Wyatt Earp is yelling in Tombstone, and he's like, he's like, you called down the thunder. Well, now you got it. Like that whole thing. That's what I was thinking.
It was awesome in Tombstone.
Yeah, it's great in Tombstone.
I think that the main issue with it, that at least the issue that I had, was that it felt like it was made just for a trailer.
Completely. Yeah.
So it didn't feel like it was justified. Like she spit in the face, and you're like, okay, cool. But it doesn't seem like Clarke's character to take on that persona, to be like, this is who I am. I'm the commander of death, because she's so adverse to that whole thing. Like even earlier in this episode, she was saying that that's not who she is.
Yeah.
So for her to just 180 all because she saw Lexa seemed out of character.
Like I almost feel like it would have been more effective if she had spit at her, and then there was a moment, and then she looked at her and said something like, you wanted the commander of death. Now you got it. Like, when this is over, I'm gonna kill you. Or something like that.
It didn't have to be her screaming the whole time, especially with the grunts after. I think that's what ruined it.
But also, it didn't help that we had closed captioning on, and all we just saw was like H exclamation point, and just like a screen of that for a few. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I didn't think that was.
No, and everybody in the chat agrees that they felt like it was a little much. Some people thought it made her look really weak instead of her looking very strong.
I agree. That's part of what I was thinking. It makes her, she gives a strong statement. Okay, you got the commander of death, whether it's fake or real, whatever. And then she just goes into like freaking out and throwing a fit, which kind of counteracts what she just said.
Right.
But they're also, the two of them, there's real chemistry there. So like.
Oh yeah. I thought they were gonna kiss, and then I would have been like, that would have ruined everything.
I thought they were going to kiss on so many occasions throughout the show.
Oh yeah.
I'm now just immune to that, I think.
Right.
Yeah, I'm over it. I was just sitting there going, she's not gonna do that. And oh, thank God. When she took the towel out of her, or t-shirt out of her mouth.
Do you think Clarke has like pretty confused feelings towards Lexa? Do you think she loves?
Totally.
Do you think she loves her, but also, and then so okay, I want to talk about that, but then I also want to talk about like the fact that we basically have like the lingering Bellamy and like his thing, and so like there's like the little triangle starting again that we're gonna have, because Bellamy's gonna be there to save her, but Lexa's gonna have her.
He's always part of the triangle.
I don't think he ever left the triangle.
He's always
to be
the
honest.
lone side of the triangle.
Right.
Yeah.
So okay, so there was 3 moments, right? So the first one is when actually, and I wanted to mention this. I know we talked about this off camera for a second.
Sorry, I'm just reading the chat. I'm sorry.
So Nyla, who's the character from the last episode who gets beat up in this one.
What?
Yeah, she got really, really beat up. By the way, so many of the names in this episode, they remind me of names from Magic the Gathering characters. Because I play so much Magic. And like Nylea is a character from Magic, so I keep finding. Anyway, never mind.
Hey,
Someone's nerd
embrace
is showing.
Yeah.
So Nyla. So I was thinking this show is so like full of like the strong female character archetype, right? Like it's a thing. It's very trendy right now. It's like in a lot of shows. This show does it way more than others though. I mean, the whole show is driven by women. Like that,
Which is great.
They're front and center. Like they really drive the show. They do a great job with it. Because of that, I think, and because they push the boundaries, when Nyla's getting beaten up by a man in the show, it doesn't actually feel as like brutal and out of place as it does on most television. To me, she seemed like, because you have this notion of women in the show where they all seem to be able to take care of themselves, and in the end, she just gets up after getting the snot beat out of her. Do we swear on the show?
I mean, you already did it twice, so I think we're out of that ballpark.
I can't remember anymore.
We're already explicit.
Yeah,
on iTunes.
snot. So she gets the snot beat out of her, and then gets up, and like you're just kind of like, it's just the nature of this world. But like women in this world are king or queen. So I don't know. Did you guys get that feeling? It's an interesting observation. I just found myself feeling that while watching this episode.
And I'm glad that you brought it up, because the fact that if we were watching any other show, especially on the CW, like anything else or something, we would watch the scene and everyone would be like kind of uncomfortable and kind of looking around and looking at their phone and stuff, because it's hard to watch some big dude just beating up on this tiny person. But because the 100 and the grounder world and style is very kill or be killed, like it was mentioned in the episode today. It's just kind of normal to us.
I mean, that's what we were talking about before we started the show tonight, is that it's almost the same as watching it as if it were two male characters. I mean, it just feels the same.
Right. Yeah, completely. What do we got in the chat? Somebody have things to say?
What?
Nyla
is Murphy's sister in real life.
Yeah.
Oh,
in real life.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was like, what? That's
Purple.
awesome. Oh, you know what? I can see it now in the face.
Yeah.
A little bit.
See it a bit.
Interesting.
A little bit.
Didn't know that.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's awesome. Who said that? Christine Baker said that.
Yes.
You're awesome.
And they're both Canadian. Yeah, right?
Are they?
I believe Richard
I didn't
Harmon
know
is
that.
Canadian.
Why are you so excited about the Canadians?
I don't know. I just like seeing other
Canada's
people
awesome.
doing
Canada.
stuff. Also, I've never been. I want to go.
Well, there's like a number of the actors on this show that are
Canadian.
Yeah, Chelsea Rice, who plays Harper, is Canadian.
I don't know. I get excited for people who are not from the U.S. that are just doing stuff. I don't know. I'm excited. You know.
There you go.
Far away land of Canada.
Yes.
Oh yeah, this is unrelated, but we'll just jump at it just for a second. Ricky Whittle, our good buddy who we mentioned, Lincoln, booked a show today. He was announced.
Congratulations!
Yeah, he's the lead on that new show, American Gods, on Stars. It's like a premium cable show. So
it's a really good
congratulations
book. You guys should all read it.
to Ricky.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yes.
A singular book?
Congratulations.
No, it's a series. Just like kind of like how this one is. Yeah.
So when I make my 4-hour trips back and forth to Los Angeles every day, I listen to audiobooks. I go through like
It's
100 of them.
it's really intense. Like pretty much like the 100, but much older. There's a lot more mythological things happen. It's really good. You gotta read it.
Yeah, I haven't read it, but I want everybody who's listening or watching to get on Twitter and tweet at Ricky and give him a congratulations from you and from us on the AFTERBUZZ TV 100 panel. That couldn't happen to a nicer guy. So 100%.
It's great.
100%.
I'm done.
We've lost
Snot.
Alexis.
Done with this
Gone.
Mount.
And she's
gonna
gonna
be
miss
here.
all the talk about Nico.
Yes. Wait. Did we just cover everything with the? Oh no. The Bellamy stuff. That's what I wanted to hit really quickly, and then I started with Nyla, and I got on a tangent.
Yeah.
Sorry, tangent.
You lose your topic privileges when you go on tangents.
Sorry, guys.
So
Get out.
So Bellamy talks to Nyla, and she's like, Clarke was here when I went to sleep. She was gone when I woke up. Right? There's number one. And you wonder if Bellamy like heard this and thought anything of it. I just heard it for a second. I was like, huh, interesting. Wonder if that meant anything. Then when he sees her, when he actually finds Clarke, they have that one moment, the eye contact. It's been a while since they've had any eye contact. And you're like, oh my God, Bellarke, it's a thing. I ship this.
You missed it in the chat. There was just words of just Bellarke just chanting throughout the chat.
People love it. Yeah.
Bellarke.
And then lastly, obviously, when he's like grunting and he's been stabbed in the leg, and he's
Sweating
like,
profusely.
yeah, and he's like, we're not gonna lose Clarke. you know, those were all 3 big Bellarke moments, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the second 2 especially, but the first one a little bit, I thought.
I don't think it ever stopped on his side.
I
Okay.
really don't think it has, even though he might have moved on. I feel like there's a tiny little bit of Bellarke
See,
still
I don't think
happening.
he moved on in any real capacity. I think he just did to fill the time because he had to.
Right.
Is Gina just a foil? Is all she has a red herring for us? Is she? That's like
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Yes.
I'm like, yes, absolutely.
You never forget your first love, guys. Never.
Well,
Aw.
I'm just kidding. No, that's actually very true.
Yeah.
I gotta wait.
Yes.
They're like this show's Ross and Rachel to some degree, right?
Oh, no.
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 We don't
No.
think so.
I
No.
don't think so.
I
Because
can't put them in the
they've
same
never
category.
actually been together.
Right.
And you have to be like on an on again, off again.
Right.
Like I feel like
You have to be on a break.
right.
Yeah.
Right. There you go.
I feel like Clarke was never really into Bellamy as much. Like, because she's always been into like Finn, and then it was Lexa and all that stuff. I feel like
Yeah.
they've always been on even ground, and they've seen each other as colleagues of the highest level. But I've never felt like she was on the love train.
Man, there is a lot of back and forth up and happening here. Everyone's like all for Bellarke, and then some people are like screw Bellarke. It's all about Clexa, and I'm like, jeez.
I kind of prefer Clexa, to be honest.
Hell yes.
I do.
Yeah.
And I just,
Lexark.
like
Yeah,
you said,
or
I mean,
Lexark.
Bellamy and Clarke have never been together in any real way, and it's always been him having way more feelings than her. So even
Yeah.
if they got together, it'd be short-lived and it would be boring.
Right.
Yeah. He's a little emotional. He's a little bit emotional.
He's going through some stuff.
He's a lot more emotional than Clarke is. Man, she's like.
She's been living in the woods for how long?
I know, but
Yeah.
like, can you imagine if they were together? Like the intimacy issues on her side, it would be so
Well,
bad.
right now, I think it would have been different if they started from the
Maybe.
Right.
They're just kids, Alexis. Okay.
Just
What?
children.
I mean, you know what? I will just reserve.
Grow together.
Yeah.
I have a couple more topics to cover real quick.
Yeah.
Yes,
All right.
because we have 10 minutes.
10 minutes.
Here we go.
All right. Real quick. So we had Nyko come into the Arcadia, and now we see that Abby and the other doctor and everyone are now thinking about using Mount Weather as like not necessarily a base, but utilizing the resources there a lot more. Which at the time, it was kind of the stalemate inducer.
taboo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess now we're gonna have to see it unfold whether the Grounders view that as an act of war.
How many grounders were So okay, when she killed all the people in Mount Weather, Clarke last season, did she kill everyone in Mount Weather? No, she didn't. Didn't she? She killed every single person.
Yeah, they were all
Everyone.
They were
contained
yeah,
on one
every
level,
single
and she
person.
just annihilated all of
The
them.
whole level.
Yeah.
I guess I remembered that it was level 5.
It's
I think.
also been a while too,
Yeah, it is.
like since we
Yeah.
saw the
because
finale.
I remembered her like nuking the level and then
No,
the
everybody-
disintegration. of
Yeah, they
people.
Everybody
had
was
put
in there.
everyone there because there were,
Yeah.
issues on the other ones, and
Yeah.
then she was donezo with everybody.
So they're just all dead. And
they are
then
all dead.
did they do something with the bodies?
I'm assuming they buried them.
I think
or
they
burned
buried them
or
or
something.
there was
had-
just nothing left.
Did I
Yeah.
make up that they had like a cremation facility in Mount Weather? Because I feel like they did.
I think
but
they did.
I think
thought
they
we
did to
did.
get rid of
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
the
Sometimes
excess
I make
people.
things up and I think they're facts, but
Right.
I'm
No,
not
I mean-
sure what's
Dream
real
one
or not.
time.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah.
I did the same thing.
People call them Erin facts. I have friends that made a
Really?
hashtag. Yeah, because I'm so convinced of them when I say them. I'll say them to you guys all the time. I'll tell you things and I'll be like, yeah,
Oh my god, I like
That's
this
on the internet.
hashtag.
Oh.
I'm gonna
But
look it up.
It's not on the internet because it's in my brain and I made it up.
Interesting.
But this one I think is real.
No, I think you're on the right track.
So okay,
Yeah.
like they're like places aren't evil, people are. That's Nico's line. Nico's
I
line.
love that line immediately because I've sadly enough, guys, even though I love you all, I always felt that way ever since I was like really young. I was
So-
just like, no, it's people.
Do we think though, like that there was any logic to them not just like actually maintaining Mount Weather as a place? Because why on earth wouldn't they? It's
Because it was part of the truce, because the fact that there was just so much death surrounding it, why be a part of it?
Right.
Okay.
Also, Lincoln had stated that if they started moving into Mount Weather, the Grounders would view it as them essentially trying to take Mount Weather as or take over the whole operation that Mount
got it.
Weather
Okay,
Right.
right. Yeah, because
Yeah.
they don't know him well enough. Yeah, that makes more sense.
And just even in this situation, like when they're using the medical facility, they're using blood that was taken in obviously a really terrible way. So
Yeah.
there's just
Right.
a lot of bad
There's a lot of bad juju going
on.
on in there,
Gotcha,
and I
gotcha,
just feel like it's just kind of like the unclean, can't touch it kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know. So yeah, I think it's kind of weird how like Abby and the other doctor, which I'm blanking on his name right now, if he even had one.
Okay.
You know.
Yep.
Anyway, so like.
Doctor Who?
Yeah, sure. And it was kind of crazy how he was pushing so hard to be the opposite of what Abby believed in, just because he was like super upset that she was being both Chancellor and Doctor. I didn't really understand that.
Everyone seems to be upset about her double position right now. She was getting a lot of flack from a lot of people in this episode.
Well, and Jasper had the best line in the whole episode when he said to her, she's like, your friend Finn took that to the grave with him, or whatever she said. And he's like, yeah, your daughter killed him too. Real good line.
Yeah.
Real good line.
Great.
So
Yeah.
hard.
Yeah, I thought that was
But
great.
that's the thing is I don't understand. I mean, I understand why Abby's getting all this hate, but I feel like she is just one person. So I feel like either she needs to be a Chancellor, or she needs to be a Doctor, or find someone to take one of these places. And I think Kane can do a pretty good job at being
Kane.
Chancellor.
I like Kane as Chancellor.
I think he should. I mean, I don't know if that's ever going to happen. That would be a nice, not end to it, but I feel like that would be a good prediction to have, is for Kane to start taking over so that she can become a Doctor again.
Still very difficult if I ever focus on Kane too hard to not just think of him as Desmond from Lost.
It's hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you just want him to just say something like, "Not today, brother." You know what I mean? Like, that's,
Yeah, I'm waiting for it.
It's all you keep hearing.
It's gonna break out one day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's.
Yeah.
Jasper, since we mentioned him, he had a breakthrough this episode.
Yes, finally.
Which I thought was great, and also, but did you guys feel it like it was too fast?
Yes.
Nope.
Oh no.
Oh, disagreement.
Totally.
You go ahead.
I don't think it was too fast. Why do you think it? Why?
Well, because he acted like an idiot last episode, and was really obnoxious, and was just like grieving or whatever, and like I don't like when it's clear that you're supposed to feel a certain way because a character's acting a certain way. Like, it's very manipulative on the writer's part, like to make him so drastic last episode, and then have him break so conveniently this episode. Because it's like, if he continued to act the way that he was acting last episode, then they were setting him up to get killed. So then with him acting normal this episode, that means he's going to just be a normal character. No, there's going to be no consequence to the actions.
I differ on this discussion. I think that because he had his breakthrough so early, he still doesn't, he can actually have some sort of peace, but it's not going to be to the point of like, I want to live. It's more like, I'm going to do something really crazy and then I can die because I finally found peace with what has happened.
Yeah, I'm totally on board with you. And I think that it was contingent upon him going to Mount Weather to have this big breakthrough, but I don't think by any means he's just going to be complacent and be part of assimilate himself at all.
It's still going to take him some time to finally get back to the Jasper we kind of loved at one point.
Right.
But at the same time, I just feel like he's still going to be just obnoxious to a point. And it's still going to be trouble. He's just a little bit more easy to take care of now.
Sure.
Yeah.
I
I'd agree with that.
Yeah.
Should we talk just a little bit about Monty and his mother and that whole situation?
Oh my god.
Yes.
I would love to talk about that.
Yes. What would you like to say about it?
I would like to. First of all, from the very moment that Pike spoke, when he had Bellamy in the car, I was like, yeah, it's Farm Station.
Yeah, because they were talking in like military talk, and I was like, that doesn't sound like Grounders. This is weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I like that they super duper don't trust Grounders, because we've been on this big journey with these characters, and it's taken so much to get a truce. Like, it took a whole group of people dying for a truce to happen, and it's still such a thin truce. And then it reminds you that everywhere outside of this small little community, everyone still hates each other.
Yeah.
Which is really interesting.
It's also, and it's a really interesting way for them to use the show to once again deal with a social issue, which is racism, and that's, you know, they've dealt with drug use. They've done a lot of things in the show that are really interesting, and this sets up a really interesting opportunity to deal with racism, because you now have like smart, educated people that have gone on this journey together that have educated opinions about each other, tribes, races, whatever we would refer to them in the show as, and an ignorant character who is supposed to be on your side, who's saying something like, doesn't matter, they're all the same to me. Essentially, the color of their skin, they're all the same to me. It's like what the metaphor would be. So I think it's a good opportunity to address it in the show, and I like that.
Yeah, at first I was kind of like, wow, this was really quick for me, but I forgot how long they've been there since the crash, and I was like, okay, that makes more sense, because at first I was kind of like, wow, we just jumped on that bandwagon real quick about, you know, hating Grounders. Like, you guys haven't really been here that long, and I was like, no, wait, I forgot that crash happened.
Since we haven't seen them in so long, and actually we thought they were dead the entire time.
I definitely thought they were dead the entire time.
I never thought that those characters were going to make some kind of resurgence.
Yeah,
at all.
I agree.
But we forget how much time went by because we've just never followed their story.
Yeah.
Right.
It's kind of crazy.
Yeah. I thought that the use of telling how Monty's father died was a good way to kind of catch us up on their story as well.
Yes.
Definitely.
And
Yeah.
it explains a lot why they have this hatred towards the Grounders more than just their ignorance of them, that, something actually happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We are running a bit short on time.
Yes, we
I
are.
rambled a lot. I'm sorry. I had a game I wanted to play. Did we have anything else on the show that we wanted to cover quickly before we? No.
No, we covered all.
yeah.
all
We
topics.
good? Did we
we're
talk
good,
enough? Did we
yeah.
talk enough about Bellamy and like his getting stabbed and that whole bit?
Yeah,
We're good.
Yeah.
Yeah. We talked about that
Yeah.
when we were talking about Clarke and all that stuff.
Okay.
His like, I need Clarke moment.
Well, yeah, I know we did. I know we did the impression of
Yeah.
him. I just meant like we didn't have his
There's
decision to
a
like
lot of
dress up
grunting
and go
with
after.
teeth closed.
Yeah. So what was the game?
So the game I want to play is this. So we've all established this show is full of badasses, right? We did this all last season. Like,
Yes.
and I think we've all had different opinions of like who the most badass character on the show is.
Yes.
So I would like every single week at the end of the episode for us to sound off who holds the championship belt for you of the most badass character on the 100. Because I think it would be a fun game for our fans to play too. Because
Yeah.
it's like everybody can like someone different. You even have this new guy, Prince Roan, who's a total badass.
Yeah.
Clarke is such a savage. I mean, you have Octavia, who's super cool all the time. So I think there's a good range of characters.
Yes.
So I'd love to know everybody. We could even, I think we'll stick with one today.
Yeah.
But for our fans, what hashtag should we use? Tweet in like ABTV top 3, and it'll be the 3 most badass characters on the show.
Sure.
And it rhymes.
Yeah.
So it's awesome.
ABTV top 3. I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, hashtag ABTV top 3, and that'll be who are the 3 most badass 100 characters for you. You can even rank them. But let's do one each. All right, who's
Yeah.
your most badass character?
I always got to go with Indra. She's my top.
Oh, that was mine!
You guys both go Indra?
Yeah.
I love Adina Porter, right?
Yeah. Oh my God, she's
I
amazing.
love her
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
much.
I think she's amazing.
Wow, so all 3 of you? I mean, she's a total stone cold savage. I think she's
yeah.
amazing. But I still have to say that, like, I think my favorite is Clarke right now. She's my number 1. I just believe she's the god of death.
Yeah.
You know?
All right.
The
Nice.
commander of death.
All right.
Yeah.
And tell us what you think in the comments below, and also on Twitter. Use that hashtag.
ABTV top 3. Boom!
Nice. So we got to do a quick round of predictions, and then we're out this beat.
Very nice.
And now, your AFTERBUZZ TV predictions.
Sorry. Okay.
Erin, we'll start with you.
Yes, please.
There's so many storylines going on right now that it's hard for me to narrow it down to just one. But I think, as much as I don't want it to happen, that Clarke actually somehow is going to come around and end up working with the commander.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I totally
Yeah,
think she
I can
will.
jump on that for
Yeah.
sure. Good.
Mr. Bateman?
I think that Lincoln is going to get himself in a lot of trouble for making the decision to move back into Mount Weather and like making the selfish decision to use the the blood and everything and do the thing that like he said he wasn't going to do basically, but he's like my friend. He's my friend.
Yeah.
I think it's going to come back to bite him, and I think he's going to either get hurt or die at some point in the season as a result of being foolish.
If he dies, I'm going to cry on the show.
I mean,
Some people were talking about it in the chat earlier. They're like, I wonder if Lincoln's gonna pass.
I will come in here and I will cry.
it would make
With
sense
all of you.
what with him being cast in a new show.
In a new show.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Yeah, that's what
I think
was
we might
predicting.
I think we might be able to get him back in studio this season. Hopefully,
I'm so
Yeah.
excited.
we're gonna try. So.
Yeah. My prediction is, I also agree that I think Clarke and Lex are going to work together again, and it's going to be awkward and maybe romantic. We haven't decided yet. I don't know what's going on with the Murphy Jaha thing, but I feel like, I don't know it's killing me inside because I feel like there's something else going on underneath the skin. I don't think that this whole like escape on the boat and leaving kind of thing was just it, like with Allie saying like, oh, you don't die in this world. I just feel like she has more planned.
Yeah.
And I don't
Right.
think that this
Totally
whole
agree.
escape was clean, is what I'm saying. So,
Yeah.
continue.
I'll jump off of that and say that I think that the City of Light is it is sustained by people going into stasis pods. So I think at some point we're gonna find a bunch of stasis pods underneath the mansion, and I think that Jaha is trying to lure people back so that they can. That's why they're collecting technology so that they can build these pods for people to stay in the City of Light without their bodies dying.
Matrix style.
Super
100%.
matrixy. I love that.
Very much.
I like anything with pods, like people in pods. I have no idea why that's like my genre.
Hashtag Erin loves pods.
Nice.
I like that.
Cool. So if there's nothing else,
No.
we'll wrap this baby up.
Yay!
Thank you for joining us here on AfterBuzz TV.
Brought it back.
Oh, yeah. If you haven't done so, remember to like, subscribe, go on that iTunes, leave us a little comment, tell us what you love about this show and love about the 100. Remember, we're also on SoundCloud and here on YouTube as well. So make sure to keep coming back every week. Same grounder time, same grounder time.
What is happening to my worst nightmare?
Sorry, one more time, where can the folks find you?
You can find me on Twitter at TauriJ. It's TauriJay. Alexis Torres.
You can find me where all Alexis Torres are sold at atorres890.
Ben Bateman.
You guys can find me at Ben Bateman Media, Twitter and Instagram. I'm sorry if I rambled too much tonight. I'll try to keep it in next time a little bit better, guys. Thanks for stopping by.
Erin Lee.
You can find me on the interweb and Instagram at Always Eat Your Cake, and on Twitter and Snapchat at Love Erin Lane.
The cake is alive. See
Thank you
guys
for
soon.
joining us.
Bye, guys. See you next week.
Bye.
Get it. Get it. Get it. Get it.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Guys. It's been so long. There's so many
From
different
executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
The views expressed herein are those of the host only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.